Hello there. Welcome to demo of Intercepta, a Chrome extension for mocking APIs. Now, with Intercepta, you can test front-end scenarios, any backend scenarios dependent on APIs without actually relying on them. This sounds funny, but yes, that's what you can do. All right, let's see how Intercepta API mocking works. In order to understand that, let's first understand how a general API functioning looks like. And I will take an example of e-commerce website, personalization of e-commerce website here. So a website or a web app makes a request to third-party APIs, and then third-party API get backs with some response. That's how a general API works. So in this example, a website is going to make a call to third-party API, and third-party API will get back with a user profile data, and website is going to make use of that for personalization or for UI changes, right? So in this case, it is getting back with sports industry user profile, and based on that, a personalized website is personalized. A sports user is seeing all sports related product, etc. Something like that, right? Now that is for one cohort. Website is showing for one user profile data, but uh, since since the customization is done for different industries, different user profiles, and you want to test how website is behaving for different industries, then it is not possible to change the data from third party API because third party holds the data and we cannot change it, right? So in such cases, how you will test? As a developer, as a marketer, as a CRO expert, you would like to see if my personalization is working fine for different industry users, right? Whether it is showing right products to different industry users. Correct? All right. In such cases, uh, Interceptor does the magic. Interceptor on the fly will hijack the request between your website and the third-party API endpoint and change the data set as per your requirement, as per the test that is required to do. So, and you can define those rules in the Interceptor. Okay. Now for our example, Interceptor will change the data set to from sports industry user to fashion industry user, so that our website will showcase products related to fashion industry or user industry, right? Let's see that by example. First, before that, let's go and define these rules. Okay. In order to define rules, click on Interceptor extension icon and then click on manage all rules. So you will land on the Interceptor dashboard where you can define, make rules, right? So in order to make rules, you will have to name that rule because I have see if I have already created 5 rules here, and to distinguish for your understanding, name that rule. For example, rule 1. Okay, and then activate on URLs. This field actually helps Interceptor understand where to activate that URL so that it doesn't activate any of the other URLs. So even you can use wildcards here. So in this example I have taken, I'm activating the Intercept on all the URLs that I visit, and then which endpoint to mock. So I'm using this example endpoint wherein I get the user data. You can define the methods, you can define the status code, and also the content type of the data. Once you define all of that, you can define the response body and change the response body accordingly. So in the example we have seen the sports user, and then here is the fashion user where I'm changing the response body for the same API request. Okay. Now, once that is all set, let's see how it actually looks like in front end. So, okay. Let us activate the sports user and see how it was looking for sports user. So for sports user, you can see sports user can see products from sports industry, running shoes and yoga mat. Now, if we want to see personalization for fashion industry user, then simply we can click on this extension and turn off the rule and turn on fashion user profile rule and hit refresh. See, our personalization is working fine and we have tested on different rules, right? We can also test on say errors. If there is an error and user cannot be found, then how the error will look like. This is how the error will look like. Okay, this is very simple use case. There could be other use cases where one API is dependent on another API request or another API data, and they could be so one example that I can think of is if you are doing a personalization based on user time zone, then you will have to hit one API to understand user time zone and another API to do the customization based on that time zone. So like if you want to say good morning or good evening to your users in different time zones, then your dependencies are on user time zone API. In such cases, you want to see the result and you want to see the test. You want to test all the front end results, front end that changes, right? Then you will do it. Then you can do it simply via mocking the results through Intercepta. You can just define all the rules and switch on those rules and uncheck how the personalization is looking like. That's another use case, a simple use case that I can think of. So that's Interceptor for you. Soon this will be available on Chrome Extension Marketplace. You would be able to download and use it. Thank you for staying, and I'm looking forward for your feedback and reviews.